Ever since COVID-19 has become pandemic, to control this outbreak, scientists and researchers are continuously exploring various avenues to come up with the medical treatments that can fight it. One such treatment came into focus is convalescent plasma therapy. What exactly it is? How effective is it? How impactful can this be? Let us understand the terminology and discuss in detail. Welcome to your Study Cave channel. Convalescent means recovery from an illness. Here, relatively to COVID-19, convalescent person can be a person who has really recovered from COVID-19. Now, convalescent plasma therapy is an old treatment gaining huge traction, not as a silver bullet that will fell a deadly virus in the match, but likely to be a possible stopgap treatment until a proper vaccine is found. Let me get this into very detail now. Coming to the plasma. Plasma is a protein of our blood. If we see or look into the blood, our blood is red in color. That's because of hemoglobin, which is a protein. Hemoglobin is present in red blood cells. So now, apart from hemoglobin and cellular components of the blood, there is also a part called plasma, which is responsible for pH of the blood, like to maintain the pH of the blood. It also contains many number of proteins. So one of the great one is antibodies. Now, what are antibodies? Antibodies are proteins that are produced against some specific antigens. What are antigens? Antigens are parts of bodies of either virus or bacteria or protozoa, or can be any foreign body likely to be pathogens. So when a patient is infected by the virus, as it enters the cell, it starts replicating and makes copies of itself. Our immune system fights against the viral replication. A healthy person with a good immune system is capable of generating antibodies. Basically, there are two types of antibodies, knowingly IgM and IgG. We call them immunoglobulins, like another name of antibody. So, initially to fight with antigen, IgM is released. After few days, IgG is released, which are very specific to fight the virus inside the body. Since the antibodies are fighting against the antigens of virus, we will start feeling well and healthy, like how our soldiers secure the whole country. In simple terms, the virus is killed now. Okay, I think I can use the word kill, killing or killed, but many of you may later ask me that virus is not alive, not a living organism, so what's the point of killing? I believe we can use the term killing that simply means losing the viability. That means they simply cannot infect us anymore because their RNA strands are disintegrating. Yeah, so likely killing is the term we can at least use, I guess, instead of using viability and making it dominant or leaving dominant statements. So, okay, whatever, back to the point. Yeah, so a person with normal immune system is capable of generating antibodies. So, and the virus is killed in the person's body. Such a person is called as immune, like he or she is immune to the virus. He has his own, or they have their own naturally producing antibodies that are fighting against the virus. Relating to the current scenario, the virus is novel coronavirus COVID-19. So, a person with dominant and healthy immune system produces antibodies and fight against coronavirus. That person is called immune now. So, even if in future that virus hits the person, he himself can recover just within the days. So, the treatment of convalescent plasma therapy is to use that immune person as a donor. So, as a donor means that particular person donates his antibody to any recipient who needs to fight against COVID-19. For instance, if we think X is a person who is immune to the virus and Y is a person who is affected with coronavirus, we need the antibodies of X person. To be more particular, we need IgM and IgG of X person to be transferred to the Y person for his recovery. So, X became the donor and Y is the recipient, but how exactly can we donate? This is definitely not that easy of a blood transfusion. We can use direct blood transfusion here when there is a matching blood group, but in other cases like when there is no matching of blood groups, direct blood transfusion cannot be possible. So, one can extract that particular antibodies IgM and IgG from the X immune person's blood plasma and deliver it to the Y person who is called as the recipient. So, now this Y person can fight against coronavirus. This is known as convalescent plasma therapy. So, now for this therapy to work, we require more number of recovered patients. The more recovery, the more plasma collection, thus some more recoveries. So, as I said earlier, this can be a stopgap treatment until a proper vaccine is found. In India, 5 states have been permitted by ICMR to use convalescent plasma therapy for COVID-19. Delhi, Punjab, Karnataka, Gujarat and Kerala have already been doing this. So, also to add a point before winding up, according to the latest rules from government, one can give or donate their plasma, or we can extract the plasma from a donor only by his or her willingness. So, I hope you all understand convalescent plasma therapy. Let's conclude by a brief short paragraph to remember on convalescent plasma therapy. In this therapy, a part of the blood called plasma is used, that which contains antibodies. Antibodies are proteins in plasma that fight specific bacteria and virus. So, by giving pre-made antibodies to the patients means they don't have to produce the same antibody on their own. Also a point to be noted, these antibodies are procured from COVID-19 survivors, those who have already won the battle against COVID-19 by defeating the virus and formed antibodies against it. So, I hope you all understood. That's all about convalescent plasma therapy. Hope you all understood in detail. Do share the video. It's our right and responsibility to understand these techniques on a pandemic. Please subscribe to my channel. Bye bye. Have a good day.